welcome to Giving. I'm your host, Sean Scott, and today with us is John Frisch from the Sacramento Metro Chamber, and he's going to let us know about the upcoming 2012 Perspectives. John, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Sean. It's a pleasure to be here.
I'm glad to have you, and if you could let us know more about the Perspectives 2012.
I'd be happy to, and thanks for inviting me on. This event has been going for 16 years. It's the largest event the Sacramento Metro Chamber does each year. And for the last 16 years, we brought some of the greatest speakers in the country to Sacramento. And this year really is no exception. We've got 5 great speakers. The event is September 20th. And it's pretty much an all-day event. It starts at 9 a.m. with kind of a trade show and for an hour, and there's coffee and there's pastries and things like that are all provided free. And then at 10 o'clock, we start the program, and we've got 5 speakers. We do 2, and then we do a really nice lunch, and then 3 more speakers, and then we're going to have a big cocktail party. Mm-hmm. And shall I go into the speakers, or I'll shut up?
No. Yeah, let us know. I saw the speakers, but you could probably give us some
the speakers, and this is not the order that they speak in. Peter Sheehan, who's going to be our first speaker, and he's a business writer and motivator, Australian fellow, and he's red hot right now in business consulting circles. So Peter Sheehan is the first speaker. Ariana Huffington of the Huffington Post is our second speaker. And she is not only a very interesting person in public life, but she is in politics, but also has almost revolutionized the way media is presented. Mm-hmm. So that's going to be very interesting. And then we break for a nice lunch. And then when we come back from lunch and sit down again, the next speaker will be Vicente Fox, the 46th president of Mexico. Great speaker, great presenter, large physical presence, 6'6", former president of Mexico, who's very, very, from what I hear, he's a great speaker. The fourth speaker is Hall of Famer Howie Long, former Oakland Raider, of course. And so Howie, who is, of course, on Fox NFL almost every weekend, is going to be our fourth speaker. And our last speaker is former Vice President Dick Cheney. Mm-hmm. And our master of ceremonies again this year is Tom Sullivan from Fox News. And so that's our program. And then when we're done at 4 o'clock, the 2,000 or so people that are there, we're going to have a no-host cocktail party, and so it'll be fun. We'll just have a nice mixer and talk about the speakers and critique them and just give our opinions on things. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How did the Perspectives start?
It started with the late Rusty Hammer, who was president and CEO of the Chamber back in the 1990s. Rusty heard about a program that they were doing in Bakersfield, which they're still doing, and it wasn't called Perspectives, but it was another program where they brought in 5 speakers, and it became a very big Chamber of Commerce event in Bakersfield. Rusty went down, checked it out, really liked what he saw, and then brought it to Sacramento. And the very first event we had in Sacramento was in 1995, which ironically is our new president and CEO is Roger Nilo, who was a former elected and of course former county supervisor and former car dealer, actually, the Nilo family of fine automobiles. But Roger was the board chair that year for the Metro Chamber. And so the very first Perspectives, he was the board chair, and now when I'm the board chair, he's the president and CEO of the Metro Chamber. So it's ironic, but that's how it came to Sacramento.
It is neat, because when I was reading over the client or the host you're having or premier speakers, it said that I was impressed. I was reading like the first guy, Sheehan. He works with Google. He works with some pretty big companies.
He's what happens so many times, Sean, is the person that you've heard the least of and that you expect the least of is oftentimes the one that people afterwards are raving about. Mm-hmm. It's happened so many times over the years. And I can remember going to one Perspectives probably 10 years ago when Walter Cronkite, the late Walter Cronkite, was the headliner. And everybody was looking really forward to Walter Cronkite, who was great, of course. But the greatest speaker that day was this guy that nobody had ever heard of. And you know, I'll tell you, this year on September 20th, that could be the case again. Mm-hmm. You know, so many we've seen or heard many of these speakers before. We have our own preconceived notions. But when somebody comes on that is new and fresh and, of course, very dynamic, high energy, it really, really kind of steals the show.
A lot of it, yeah. Sometimes you don't have that expectation of them.
You're exactly right.
And then they knock your socks off.
You're exactly right. Expectations are everything when it comes to stuff like this. And you know, we're just, if people meet expectations, that's usually a very good day. When they exceed expectations, it's a fabulous day.
It's a joy.
Yeah.
Now, is there certain things that they're going to talk about, or is it pretty much open to them?
For as much as we're paying them, they're going to speak about whatever they want.
Pretty much what they specialize in. Or?
Yeah, it's they actually. This is all fairly new to me, although I've gone to the event many times over the years. But this is the first time I've really been in on kind of the planning and the invitation process. Mm-hmm. And everything, and these guys all have agents. I mean, they're like professional athletes. Yeah. They're like movie stars. These guys, I shouldn't say guys because obviously we have women also, but these people all have agents. They're in high demand. They're very well compensated for what they're doing. Whoever said talk is cheap did not. It actually never planned a speaker's program.
They didn't pay for it, right?
No, they didn't. They didn't. But they send. Usually 2 topics or 2 speeches that they give. You know, they kind of have the A speech and the B speech. And the A speech is this, and they'll send you, a cut of it or a clip from it. And here's the B speech, and this is what those bullet points are, and here's 2 minutes from it. And then you kind of go, well, what do you think? And we go, well, let's go with the A speech, and so that's pretty much how it goes. But seems like they all have 2 speeches, and you can select which one you want.
Probably depends on the climate or how things are going.
Yeah,
in certain
exactly.
Areas.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. And but so we always seek for some balance, obviously diversity, and but more than anything, we're just seeking interesting speakers.
That's what I noticed when I was looking over. It seems like you have a wide range of people. Vicente Fox, president of Mexico. I was like, that interests me.
Yeah, exactly. Vicente Fox, Mexico is so important to the United States. It has been for many years, but of course with NAFTA and all the border issues, and of course now the drugs and the crime, it should be a very interesting talk. Very interesting.
Yeah, it seems like.
And of course, they just elected a new president in Mexico, and it's the first time, as I understand it, that political party has been in power for 60 years, I believe. So there's a lot of interesting things going on down there, and Vicente Fox is going to tell us about them.
That is neat. It's nice how you guys. I was looking over I think you brought in 90 people since this began. And you have a wide variety of, pretty much everything you can think of, and that's good though, because it's helping the Sacramento community. It's giving a lot more knowledge to different things, and it helps a lot more businesses. Yeah,
it is, and of course the Metro Chamber is a pro-business organization, which I think kind of inherently makes us a more, I'd say, slightly conservative organization politically, because we are a very pro-business organization. And so I would say our programs over the years have probably looked more conservative than some people would like. But I must say our membership, which is made up almost entirely of small and medium-sized business people, and then all of the largest companies in Sacramento. Probably 50 of the largest employers in Sacramento are members of the Metro Chamber. But our other 2,000 members are small and medium-sized businesses, businesses under 50 people. I think our program year after year, by and large, reflects the interest of our membership, who are the biggest supporters of the event.
Yeah, when I was reading through some more of the stuff on the chamber, it was, you were talking about how you guys have your like inspire leadership, inspire volunteerism. Could you let us know a little more about that? And that probably ties into the perspective.
Thank you for asking. The chamber actually starts. We've started a what we call Metro Edge, which is actually a young professionals organization of people that are just now starting to get into management positions within their company. Mm-hmm. They're certainly not at the C level, the CEO, COO type level, but perhaps in 20 years they will be. And so we've started an organization that is built for 20 and 30-year-olds. And so what they're doing largely is identifying projects that they can volunteer for in the community. Mm-hmm. They raise money largely through their employers and through other chamber members to complete these projects. Most of the budgets are $50,000 to $100,000, and they do one of these projects each year with the help of the Metro Chamber membership. And they have over 500 members in that group right now, Sean. And these people, these young professionals, are so engaged and involved in the community, and this gives them a great direction to give back to the community. We also have Leadership Sacramento, which is kind of for the next level up of young professional, where companies, they come together once a month and they learn all about Sacramento and doing business in Sacramento and the history of Sacramento and the potential of, and so then that group becomes like a pledge class, and they have one of those each year. And then our biggest events that the Metro Chamber does is Cap to Cap. Well, Perspectives is the biggest. The next biggest is Cap to Cap, which happens every April. It's been going on for 42 years now. Oh, I didn't know. It's the largest volunteer lobbying effort in the United States. No other volunteer group puts together 400, amateur lobbyists, and they fly off to Washington, D.C. every spring for 4 days to lobby on things like flood control, air quality, airports, civic amenities, jobs and business growth, and all these things that are so important to Sacramento. And we have teams of 10 or 15, and we all split up, and we go out and we call on about 15 Congress people and senators. And it's just, it's a lot of fun. It's a great trip.
Neat.
Yeah, and that's also is not only a great bonding opportunity for the people that are on that trip, but it is also a major event of the Metro Chamber.
It sounds interesting to me because you're lobbying the senators in Congress, and they're getting the true perspective of the businessman. It's not the corporation per se, and they're getting a more down to earth approach to it.
You're exactly right, because of course these people talk to professional lobbyists all the time, and so we're the amateurs. We come in for a visit, and we sit with Dianne Feinstein. I mean, it's really pretty neat to be in their office. We always meet in their office, and you're in Dianne Feinstein's private office with 8 or 9 chamber members, and she's sitting there behind her desk in the U.S. Capitol, and it's just one of the coolest things. And we are expressing to her what we think needs to be done to improve the business climate in Sacramento, improve the civic amenities in Sacramento, or improve things like flood safety, or improve air quality, or whatever, create more markets for agricultural products. Our membership is so diverse, and we have so many professionals that have so many different professional interests and career interests, that we have experts on almost everything on these teams, and they can talk knowledgeably with the electeds about them.
And John's going to let us know some more about, he's going to an upcoming trip to Colorado, I think tomorrow.
Yes, I am, Sean. Metro Chamber each year has an event they call a study mission, and we select a city that has similarities to Sacramento. Usually it's about the same size, usually has a river or is on the water. And a lot of people don't know that Denver, which is the city we're going to tomorrow, actually there's a river that runs through Denver. It's not as big as the Sacramento or the American River. It's probably about the size of the American River. But there is a river, and that's why Denver came to be built in that location at the base of the Rockies. And so we're going to Denver tomorrow. There's 80 of us signed up from the Metro Chamber, including quite a few electeds. And the city manager and the county manager are both going for Sacramento and some of the outlying regions. But mainly, again, just people like myself who have a day job in another profession, but we're chamber volunteers, and we pay to go on these trips. And what we learn is many of these communities this size have the same issues and the same problems. They need more civic amenities. Civic amenities, of course, not only include symphonies and museums, but also include professional sports teams, parks, better schools, all the things, libraries, all the things that make for a better community. Well, as we go around the country each year to these different cities, we have found that some cities are doing a much better job than others in one or more of these areas. So we go and we try to find out best practices of what they're doing there. Last year we went to New Orleans, which was really eye-opening, 5 years after Katrina. It was actually almost on the anniversary of the 5th anniversary of Katrina. And we learned so much about how they've changed their schools in the last 5 years. And that was really, really illuminating. And of course, a great deal about flood control, which is also very important to Sacramento in this region. But so we try to learn what they did there to make things better. And then we try to bring those ideas back to Sacramento and implement them. And that's one, we have a committee in our Metro Chamber called Civic Amenities, and they're the ones that put these trips on.
I like that perspective because you're not reinventing the wheel.
Yeah.
You go and find out what they're doing good and say, okay, we can do this and maybe even improve upon it, instead of going out and trying to create something where you don't know if it's going to fly or if it's going to work right.
Yeah.
And that is smart. You're willing to look at other options where sometimes government and business doesn't do that.
You're exactly right. And see, almost all these good ideas have already, been thought of somewhere. So we go around and we try to find out, do we like their good idea, and would that work in Sacramento? And so that's what we're going to be doing in Denver Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday.
Well, that'll be fun. That'll be good. Now, could you tell me some more stories about past perspectives?
I sure can. Thanks for asking. So it started in '95, and I remember going the first several years, and it was actually out in the exhibit halls, which where they show the livestock during Cal Expo, during the state fair and the county fair. Perspective started in the building that they house the livestock. And I remember when this was R.E. Grasswich was still writing for the Sacramento Bee at the time before he went into politics, and R.E. Grasswich would always say, well, that big show is coming to the cattle barns again out at Cal Expo. And he would make a lot of cattle barn jokes, but it actually started. And of course, the barns, it wasn't a barn, it was a very large hall with a very well swept floor and very clean. But again, it was where they showed the animals during the fair. The event grew and grew, and we moved it to the convention center about 10 years ago. And the ground floor of the convention center is about a 3-acre floor. It's about a 120,000 square foot floor. Very high ceilings, and you can put about 3,000 people comfortably in that room with tables and then enough room for lunch and everything, and it works perfectly. So for the last 10 years, Perspectives has been at the Sacramento Convention Center.
That's a nice place
to
go
it's
to.
good.
So you have about 3,000 people this year?
We have about low 2,000s this year. Attendance is down, I think, primarily because of the economy. but we're going to be over 2,000 people this year, which is terrific. That's much better than the last 2 years.
But honestly, to me, I think of the economy. I know in business myself, if things aren't going good, you need to find other things to motivate you or to get you going. And especially with perspectives, you're going to get some new ideas.
Yeah.
Especially with Sheehan, who helps big companies.
Yeah.
I think his book is Flip, and he talks about flipping your ideas or changing, coming up with new ideas, and
Yeah.
especially with Ariana Huffington, she started an internet company.
Yep.
Pretty much did it that way, and also with Cheney, you're just getting a wealth of knowledge. So there's a lot of things out there I think they can.
Well, I sure agree with you. I think people, if they come to this event, they'll certainly, people always talk about takeaways. They will take away some things that I think are going to help them in their business or their personal life.
And then you guys have the lunch, so you start out with a breakfast? Is that how it?
No, but there's coffee and pastries and water and things like that during the trade show part. Mm-hmm. And then at 10 o'clock we sit down, and then lunch is at noon. So
a lot of people get to mingle, though, and you get to meet people from different organizations.
I hesitate to use the word networking, but I would tell you, as far as meeting people or getting reacquainted with people, you're going to see so many of the community leaders of Sacramento at this event. It is a great event for cultivating relationships and meeting new people, making new friends. Yeah. It's just one of the best networking events you could ever go to.
One of the things I think of with business too, or life in general, is you always want to be around those people that are doing good, because they either motivate you or inspire you and show you ways. As we're, I don't know, I can acclimate it to sports. When I play someone that's better than me in sports, I rise to the occasion. And when you're around these people, they're going to lift you up and bring you up.
That's a great point. It's like a rising tide lifts all boats. Well, the tide's going to be pretty high in that room next Thursday.
I can't wait to go to it and you get some interviews out of it.
Good.
Now, is to contact you, do they go to Sacramento Metro Chamber?
Website. We have a really easy to navigate a web page that is dedicated to this event. It's www.metrochamber.org, metrochamber.org/perspectives.
Okay.
And if you go on the internet and search that, you'll come to a page that can tell you everything you need to know about attending the event.
And it'll give them some more information, some more heads.
Yes, it sure will.
Now, I want to talk about you a little more too, because I think this kind of go hand in hand. I met you about a year ago.
Yep.
You were at the basketball tournament.
It was about a year ago,
It was for, I think it was for the foster kids.
Yeah, and it was Asian, I think it was the Asian Sports Foundation and foster kids, yeah.
And I met you there. You were dressed up as a cheerleader.
Yes, this was Sharon Gerber extravaganza. And she said we were going to be cheerleaders, and I said okay. And then it turned out we were actually like fast break dancers.
Yeah.
And we had to learn 3 dance routines, and they were really hard. So I didn't do it this year.
But it was so fun though. I met you out there, and we started talking, and just started chit chatting about everything that was going on, and that was one of the things that inspired me about you is, you work for a commercial real estate company. You oversee the Sacramento branch.
Yes.
But then I started doing research on you, and I have a page here of all the civic things that you've done. You've worked with your Humanitarian of the Year for 1995, and also I think in 96, 2000, 2007, and you've given back a lot of local in the community. And honestly, I think a lot of people in business, and when you're doing stuff in business, it's not just about business, it's what you're doing to help everybody else, and I know you do that a lot.
Well, I don't play golf, so I have a lot of time to go to committee meetings and board meetings and volunteer, and I must say, I just love it, Sean. I really wouldn't do this much community service and volunteer work if I didn't I swear I get more out of it than I have ever put into it. And it's a very, very rewarding addition to your regular professional life. It provides balance. And you meet people that you never would meet if you were just out selling real estate all day. So it's nice. It works for me, and I'm going to keep doing it.
I like what you do. And after that, I saw you were at the Red Cross for Thanksgiving.
Yes,
and,
that's correct.
Serving Thanksgiving dinner, and that was the first time I've been at the
Yeah.
Red Cross. That was humbling. It was just nice to see. I think the mayor was there.
Yeah.
A few other people were there, and it was. I ran into you again. It's like I'm always running into these places where someone's doing good, and I'm like, I wonder if John's going to be here. And and after looking at your bio, I know usually you are there doing something good, and it's nice. You do it humbly, and you do it for the right reasons, and I think that's a thing to be noted, and I appreciate that.
Thank you very much. And again, I walk away from every one of those activities going, wow. First of all, you have so many thoughts. First of all, you feel like, how lucky I am, and don't ever even complain about anything, because we do have it good. Mm-hmm. We've got it good. We forget how good we have it, and it's easy to forget how good we have it when you work around highly motivated, successful people like I'm fortunate enough to do. And then when you spend some time volunteering, you realize, wow, I'm really lucky.
It's like sometimes we have problems in our lives, and especially with me. My problems are more quality problems than a serious life problems.
Yeah.
And when I do start giving back and doing things, I do notice, you know what, life is great. There's some great things to do. And if we do things for the right reasons, it all comes around.
You're absolutely right, and it actually brings your whole life into perspective, which again is this event coming up next Thursday.
It ties right in.
But it does. It brings everything into perspective, and you hopefully keep your priorities straight by helping those less fortunate than yourself.
Yep. When you help others, it helps you even more.
Yeah, you're right.
Well, John, I want to thank you.
Oh, thank you very much,
I appreciate
Sean.
it.
Yeah, it's a pleasure.
And for those of you watching out there, if you want to grow in the business world or just be more part of the community, go to the 2012 Perspective and find out. You'll meet a lot of these people that are doing good in our community.
Thank you.
Have a good day. Thank you.